Hello everyone, it's Keesje. Welcome back. Today I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make this card. I figured circles is the way to go, so I'm gonna make this card. And the things I used are everyday things, so it's not that you have to go to the store and purchase something. So first we need some cardstock, and this is 60-pound cardstock that you can find in any office supply store. And we're gonna cut this in half. So this is an 11 by 8.5, so I'm gonna cut it at 5.5 inches, and I use my rotary cutter for this. Then we're going to fold it in half, and I like to score it a bit, and I also know that not everybody has a scoring board. So you find your middle and you grab a kitchen knife and you use the back of it and you press in, and then you fold it like so. This way the fibers of the paper have been stretched already, so it folds real easy now. So this is the base for my card. Now we're going to pick our backgrounds, and here I used a piece of wallpaper. So we're going to use magazine pages, and I created this Viewfinder that I can place anywhere to see what part of the background I will use. So I will place this on here, and I think this is a nice background. I don't want too much things showing. Here I have another sample. This is a mountain peak. So if I put it over here, hang on, let me find it. This is quite neutral. You don't have to include the peak. I think I would not want that, so I will move it down a bit or maybe over a bit. That will look good. And how I make this viewfinder, this is a regular piece of copy paper, and I just cut a hole that is 5.25 by 4 inches, because that is 1/8 of an inch all around, smaller than my card, base card. Here I have another piece that I can probably use like so. Here I have a calendar page that I can use this part of. But first we're going to look for something that stands out with the pages I just showed you. So I found some papers that would go with my backgrounds. This is actually a scrapbooking paper, and it's quite sturdy, so this will work nicely with this paper. Here I found this is also scrapbook paper, and because of the glow of the sun it makes it pinkish, so that's why I'm going with this color. And because this has a lot of yellow in it, I will probably cut circles out of this area. I think that will look nice. Here the flowers are quite reddish, pinkish, purplish. I don't know exactly, but I think this would go nice with that. Now, and if you can't find anything, you can just use book pages. And I've lightly dyed this in acrylic paint that I've shown in a previous video how to do. And this one has a little bit metallic in it, so it has a little shine. So that is also an option to use just book print. Then, because I have book print behind these guys, you want to find some text that is continuous. So when we cut the strips, so when we tear the strips, it has text everywhere. Now, because if I use circles out of this text, I don't want text underneath those circles. So here I have some music paper that I will cut in thin strips or tear in thin strips, and then I will use that as a little embellishment underneath the circles. So now we have to find the circles. So the circles on here are 2 inch, 1/3, 1.5, 1.25, 1/3, and 1/2 inch diameter. And I have a machine that can cut that, but I went around my house and found things that will work. This is a lid out of a little container that is 2 inches. Then I found a lid from a spice jar, about 1/3 of an inch. Then the spritz bottle bottom is about 1.5, and one of these bottles is 1.25. Then I found some copper piping that was left over from a renovation we did not so very long ago. This one is 1 inch, this one is 3/4, and this end is 1/4. And I could go even smaller because this is about 1/8. So these will work real good. So you can go around your house and find out what circle maker things work for you. I have like a cork that is about a little smaller than 1 inch. So yeah, there is a ton of things around the house that you can use. Also, if you have a big pen, you can use that as well. Put it down. To make the circles, because I'm using this side, I'm going to put the circles on this side. And I've done that already, but I will do a few more. So this is the side I'm using. I will draw my circles on this side. So I will put my circle on, grab a pencil, and draw around. And I try to keep my pencil the same angle all the way when I go around. Now these are 7 circles. You don't have to use 7. If you're happy with 5, then you just use 5. I just happen to have all these available to me that I found, so I'm going to go with 7. And it looks nice, and you know, there's no gap, and I like this idea. So now I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to grab somewhat of a smaller scissor, and I like to cut them apart first. When you cut, you move the paper and not the scissor. And of course, this is never going to be totally round, but that's okay. It's handmade, remember? Okay, I will do the rest and then I will be back. So here I have cut all my circles, and now I'm gonna use the Viewfinder to find my area that I want to have cut. And it's about here, so I will use a pencil and mark this corner here. Yeah, I can see it. Then I will use my ruler to cut here and here. And I will keep the scraps for other projects. Then, because the height of my card or the base is 5 1/4, I will cut that 5 1/4, and the width is 4 inches. I'm going to add double-sided tape to the back, so that is what I use to glue this to my base card. If I would use any other glue, it will wrinkle the paper, and I don't really want that. Now I will glue this to my base card, grab opposite corners and find the middle somewhat, and there it goes. I think I had chosen these circles for this. Now I can see how the circle itself disappears where it overlaps the other circle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edge all around. I'm going to use a regular Sharpie marker to edge around the edges, and basically I trace around the circle. I think my pen is out of juice. Just a little is enough. So I edged all around with my marker, and it is not all very equal. This one is very thick. This one is thinner, and I had a hard time to keeping it all the same thickness. And then I remembered that I had done it similarly with a ink pad, where you just grab the circle and go around the ink pad. And it doesn't matter what ink pad it is, that will just give it the hint of a edge. Or what you also can do is when you trace around with your pencil, you cut outside the pencil line. That way your pencil line will be your edge. This goes a lot quicker and safer than doing it with a marker. Now we're going to look for the book text that will go underneath the circles. So here I have a page from a National Geographic. So I will cut a thin strip. And as you can see, it has one big block of text, and I will take the top and the bottom off. And then I will measure that this is going about this long, and this might be just too short, so I will tear another one. Now I'll move this off. So I will use a glue stick to glue this on, and I have a catalog that is meant for just this purpose. This one goes sideways. Doesn't really matter which one you put on first, horizontal or the vertical. And I like to put the text upside down. It's nice to have a card as reference so that I kind of know where my circles are going. So the circles are on, and it looks okay. So when I glued on wallpaper with a glue stick, this whole section came off in one shot because a glue stick does not really hold well on wallpaper. So I used Aleene's tacky glue that I use almost all the time for it, and now it is firmly attached. Now I'm gonna put a sentiment on here, and it's mostly happy birthday. So I made a document where I've got a full page of happy birthdays, and I will cut these out individually. We'll edge them around with a Sharpie of some sort, and then I will glue that on a metallic piece of paper that I painted. It just gives that just a little extra to the card. When you don't have a printer, you can just write it out. Here I tried a few things. This is way too big, still way too big. I made it a bit smaller. That gives it also more personality to do it by hand, and I would then cut this out and edge it a little bit with a pen or with an ink pad, and then glue it down to another metallic piece of paper. You can make your own metallic paper with metallic paint. This is regular metallic craft paint that I painted on a piece of paper, and I've chosen different backgrounds. This color is called champagne, and doesn't really go with it, so I want to have something that is more silver, or I can just put this on here, but it looks a little sad all by itself there. So I'm gonna add this to another piece of paper. Now I'm gonna glue this to this silvery paper. I'm going to use Aleene's tacky glue. The glue from a glue stick does not hold it to the acrylic paint. Now I'll cut this out with a tiny edge And I do this with scissors because it is so small that this is hard to handle under a cutter or under a ruler. And no, it's not all straight, but I do try. And again, I will use Aline's Tacky glue to glue this to the card. Here's the collection of cards that I made. And the other thing that I added to the circles was this little mark over here that makes the circles look a little bit more rounder. Here I used the green circles to have the green in the background pop up more. Here I couldn't find any other paper, so I used book page here and the music page in the back. This is a blue jelly print that I used for this card. Here I've used dyed music paper, and this was just scrapbooking paper. So now I have a nice collection of cards again to send out. I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe, and we'll hope to see you in the next video. Bye!